This video is to help you understand how to set up your Logos Bible software to look at Hebrew text. And there's more than one way to do this, but in this video we will have some practices and you can make your own variations on that. I've got my window set up here as the home screen, and what I want to do is just start out by clicking Hebrew Study. And they have this preset idea that, hey, we have in the upper right-hand screen the English version of the Bible. In the lower screen, we have a Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament. Sometimes this is Halot. You can see the little abbreviation H-A-L-O-T. And then off to the left here is we have the Bible Word Study. And this is a nice tool in Logos for looking at words. And then what I want to do is I would like to bring up a couple of other resources besides their suggestions. One is I would like to bring up a Hebrew text. And the Lexham Hebrew Bible is something I believe all of you have as students at Metro Baltimore Seminary. So you can see my Hebrew Bible here is at a different place than my English Bible. So one of the things I want to do is I want to come over here to the three dots, open this up, and I want to say I would like this to be the same place as the A. So this says A, that's my Bible there, and I want my Hebrew Bible to also be an A. So there it's set up to, if I move my English Bible, then my Hebrew Bible is also at the same location. I've moved my Hebrew Bible to chapter 50 of Genesis. My English Bible is also, so the A's will be together. I want to add a text comparison. So here's different translations when we're looking at the Hebrew Bible. It's good to see how various translators have handled something. Well, I'm at a different location here, so I need to make this one also follow the A. And now I have my comparisons also here. Let's go back to Genesis 1:1. When we're looking at our text comparison, we have a lot of different translations here. We can change which translations we have up here. I would urge you to think about having a few different translations, some formal equivalents, more of a word-for-word translation, and some of them dynamic equivalents, more of a thought-for-thought translation. Both types of translations are valid. So I have a formal equivalence with English Standard Version and then New American Standard. The New International is a little less formal. We have the Holman. I'm going to take out the Message. The Christian Standard Bible is a good translation. It's very much similar to the Holman Christian Standard Bible. The Good News translation is a thought for thought. I'm going to take out, I'm going to leave the Holman, and I have the Lexham English. I'm going to take that out. I have my Hebrew Bible there. I'm going to take out the New Living Translation. So I have a few here. So about 5. If I am a Greek student, I could add in a Septuagint. And so now I have that Greek translation of the Hebrew Old Testament. The Hebrew Old Testament is translated into Greek as Septuagint. And here is Logos's version of that. So we have a good number of translations here with the original language and then an ancient translation. want to move back up to my English Standard Version here and just show some of the features here. There is a interlinear here. We can look at our English sequence here in the beginning. So here we have the Hebrew order of the words. Here, the Hebrew is matched up with the English wording above. You'll notice that Elohim, God, is our 1, 2, 3, fourth word here. 1, 2, 3. Because in Hebrew the verb is leads before the subject often, and so it's put in the English order here. Another tool that we can use in our Hebrew Bible is the Bible word study. To do that, let's look at this word tohu. We do a right click on it. Then we just come over here to Bible word study. That's going to show up here in the upper right hand corner all the places that it's used 20 times in the Hebrew Old Testament. And then we have the different senses of how it's used. So there's a semantic range to a word. In English, we naturally know this. This is how we acquired language in English. We know that a word doesn't mean the same thing in all context. A runner who is a person moving by running down the street is different than a runner in on a tabletop, and is different than a runner in a piece of cloth that has a rip in it. So we know naturally that there are different meanings for a word. Well, here for this Hebrew word, vain, confusing, without form are all meanings of this word tohu. So 20 times, and then as we go down here, the senses, it's breaking down how this word is used in this sense. So let's come down here to empty. So it's used that way in Job. Let's look at formless. And here's our Genesis 1:2 example. And this is how the ESV is using this word. Let's go over here to void, and let's do the same thing, the Bible word study. And so this word, bohu, is only used 3 times, much less than our tohu word, still void and empty. Another way to look at the word in the Hebrew text is to search for it in all the places in the Bible. So what you want to do here, we're not going to look for the English word. What we're going to look for is the Hebrew word. And we want to come over here and search on tohu. And so this gives all the 20 results. And this gives you the chance as an English reader of this text to look at all of the different ways it's used and get a sense. This is very similar to what we saw in the Bible word study, but you're just looking at the text without being given the answer. In fact, I would sort of prefer to look at this on my own first, especially on a low frequency word like tohu. Let's look at tohu again by looking in the dictionary. It is essential that as we're looking at a word is that we look at the dictionary entries or the lexical entries. And so we want to come down here to the lookup, and I'm going to start out with looking at BDB. That's a abbreviation for the dictionary, Brown Driver Briggs. So bohu, and they're giving some resources here. And they're giving an example here. But here are the actual semantic range usages. Very quickly, they're glosses. But then there's a breakdown, for, the meaning one, formless, of primeval earth. And here's our example here. A rule of thumb is once you see your word used in the text, take very seriously what the writer of the dictionary has said. So formless, confusion, unreality, and emptiness. We can come up here to the double slash, pull it down. And right now we're in Brown Driver Briggs. Let's move up to the Hebrew Aramaic Lexicon of the Old Testament. And we have the same word, bohu, but it's a little different in how it's laid out and what do they say that the meaning is. Wilderness, wasteland, empty. Desert, emptiness, nothing. So this is a little bit different than how our BDB explained it. Formless, confusion, unreality, emptiness. Wilderness, wasteland, emptiness, desert, emptiness, nothing. And we could pick a different dictionary too. And here's the Lexham Analytical Lexicon. Move back up here. Tohu, here we go. Wilderness, wasteland, emptiness, desert, nothing. And they give some Greek, if you're familiar with Greek, some Greek alignments, and then how the word is inflected, how it's changed in different usages. So we have our text. That's our primary thing to do, is look at the text. We're comparing our English text with our Hebrew text, and also comparing different English translations. And perhaps we're looking at the Greek if we have a background in that. We're also looking at the Bible word study, a breakdown of how the word is seen by the various tools in that nice feature in Logos Bible software. And we're also looking at all the usages of the word in the Bible. And we're looking at the dictionary citations on that word. And if we do these things, we have a wealth of information to examine our Hebrew words.